Probably ought to make one little word of caution here too. This tool here is probably the most dangerous tool in my possession as far as it can really do things because there's no protecting the blade. So I always have a glove on my left hand and I never put it anywhere near this, so if you were to slip or something were to happen, but it would not know what your flesh is. So that's just a little thought. Okay, so I sighted this thing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crayon and put a few marks on the high spots. So I got one right here, got one right here, and that's pretty much it on this face. Okay, so now I'm going to clean this up a little. Okay, now I'm going to sight it again, and you're just going to have to take my word for it. That's pretty straight. Didn't take much on that one. Like I told you, this lodge pole is straight as an arrow. Okay, well I got it nice and straight, so what I'm going to do is take a couple more passes to make it so I got at least this much width as I do right here everywhere. A little breezy today, which is always a welcome thing when it comes to doing this. Okay, one more. Okay, once I exceed the width, or get close to the width of the blades, I usually do a right and a left pass. But right now, I'm not far away from being what I want to be. Oh, that's super flat. And at my fat end, I've got about 4.5 inches. And my skinny end, I've got about 4. So I'm going to do a couple more passes and then call this one done. Things like that can happen. Okay, so now this is basically going to be the top with the treads. This face right here is going to be what you see as far as the risers, you know, what some people might call a kickboard on the steps. So what I'm going to do is plane one side good, the other side I'm going to nick up a little bit, but one side's going to be what you see, the other side you'll never see. So what I'm going to do is get one side nice on this, round it off, and what I'm going to do is place this up on top of these other 2 logs here. Put that little block of mine in there. Get it up a little higher. So what I do is I set the log so the corner I want to get is easy to attempt, and then I just roll it around every pass until I get it nice and cleaned up. And you'll see how much this is going to change now. What I generally do is just to stand in my one spot is I'll do as much as I can do here for 2 or 3 feet, then move down a foot or 2. And as you can see, just want to make sure you can see. Okay, I've got this whole little log ready. Now what I have to do is, before I go any further, I kind of did a little rough check on my height. But what you do when you figure out a set of steps is you have what you call your rise and your run. The distance out, which is going to be 3 treads, with the overhang subtracted. So if I got 14-inch treads, I'm going to have probably 2 inches overhang on these because they're so wild. So I got 3 feet out and then I've got the rise. And this I measured is 28 inches when I put a level on the top of the deck, came out to here. So that's actually perfect. And so that's 28 inches, which is 4 7s, which means 3 steps and 4 risers. So what I did is I got some gravel from the river bottom, and I laid out like a little round or square edge here to the corners where it's going to come to. And this is what my bottom step's going to set on. You don't need concrete for this around here. Okay, I've got this log ready, and after calculating my heights, my treads are 3.5 inches thick, so that means I've got to get all these to 3.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is flip this one over on its flat side and plane it down till I get 3.5 inches everywhere. So I kind of have to do the same process I did starting out, but now I have to take out meat at this fatter end a little bit more until I catch up with that end, which is 4 inches. So I got to take right off the bat about 3/4 to 0 to the middle, or a little further, and then make a flat spot. So this will be flat on the top, flat on the bottom. It'll be nice looking on the front. So this one will be ready. So I have to do that to 3 of them, and then I'll be ready to start on the steps. Okay, the secret to this is just like using any kind of plane, planing a door, anything. I'll start out, in the old days you use a hand plane, but what I'm going to do is start out about like that, then go a little further. So what I'm doing is, this is getting cut more, and it's tapering. Okay, so I kind of carried that taper into the middle. So what I'm going to do is sight down it, see how I'm looking. Oh yeah, that's working right. Okay, I'm almost to a point where if I'm going to do this down a little bit further, I'm going to measure this, make sure I never get past that point, try to keep these 2 lines as parallel as possible too. The measurements are 4 1/4 here and 3 3/4 there, so I still have to take a 1/2 inch off of this just to catch up. And then I'm going to go down to about 3 5/8 and just leave it alone for the time being, because I'll wait till I get everything prepped, because I don't want to make anything too small, but leave it a little bit big, and I can always touch it up a little bit later. Okay, I've got it down to 4 inches and 3 3/4. I'll tell you something, once I get that bandsaw mill, this will be quick work, because then I'll just cut a nick off of one and then just set the bandsaw for whatever height I want. But until that happens, I still got to do the handwork like this. Log number 3, I got them parallel, 3 5/8 apart. That's the height. Faces are done. I just sort of hit the back a little bit, knock off anything loose. So this is actually going to lay on top of the gravel bed. And then the first piece of Douglas fir tread, which is, they're called 4-bys, but they're actually 3.5 inches in this case. And so 3.5, 3.5, 7. So when I measure down from the top of the porch over, it's 28 inches. So the first tread's going to be with the riser log, 7 inches. So it'll be 21 to the top, 14 to the top, and then my last space is 7 inches. So hopefully we'll get to work on this tomorrow, but we're supposed to be getting some snow tonight, so I'm not sure if I'm not going to have that or not. I got a little video of the sawmill cutting up the 4x12 treads. Actually, some of them are 4x14s. So that's coming up next. Okay, here's the treads, Douglas fir that you just saw that video of it when they were sawed up. Now they've been drying, stacked, and stickered. That means stickering is when you have a block of wood in between the rows. They've had that for about 3.5 months. So these things are bone dry and super straight, and they're ready to roll. So the next video is going to be when these start to get put together with those logs we planed down today. Thanks very much, and it depends upon that snow I was talking about, but hopefully we'll get back to work on this tomorrow.